We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I took up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he's the DB of the show. We are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble, interviewing the best professionals in the game and in the boardroom. We're covering it all, laughing at all, and providing a platform to be heard. So, you know what we do about this time. We got to welcome our guest. So she's a retired professional basketball player, okay? Former women's college basketball coach, an educator, an entrepreneur, a confidence coach. If that's not enough, she is the CEO of two of the heavy hitters we're going to talk about today on her platform is Theta Leads and Uish. Please clap it up for Ariassa Wilson. Let's go. And I'm gonna call it Coach Rees. All right. So just to keep it simple. So how we do it, Coach, is to jump in and start it off. We do a shoot your shot moment. All right. So this is where you tell us a quick short story, you know, or something that could have happened in your past, could have happened in your coaching days. It could have happened now starting one of your business, but just a shoot your shot moment where you bet on yourself, win or loss.
Man, my entire life. One, I'm pumped to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be in this space with you all. There's not too many things I can think of than being in a space with just Black folk talking about hoop in business and entrepreneurship. Like, to me, this is all joy. So thank you for allowing me to share this space. But my whole life, the only people that really believed in me, you got your parents. My mom and my dad are my biggest supporters. So when it came to me even wanting to play professionally, I was afraid, honestly, early on to have that dream because coming out of high school, barely recruited by anybody, only CCs, and I didn't have any mentors to really show me the ropes. And so all I learned how to do was just work hard and bet on myself pretty much from day one. I don't have that get it out the mud story, so I'm not going to say that piece. I just got addicted to working hard really early and was like, oh, shoot, this joint pays off. So I retired at the age of 31 and I did the same exact thing to live the life that I'm doing right now. And it's just, I know that I got that juice in me. And so that's where it's at. If I don't make it, then I don't make it. But I definitely don't think that's not an option for me.
So the juice is loose then.
The juice is flowing. Thank God. That's a real one though.
Let's go.
Love it. So Coach, where did your love for sports start?
I never not had it. I can't think about a day and time in my life where I didn't have hoop. Like some people, find different things later in life, but I literally cannot think of a time when I wasn't hooping. I think my dad will say, he put a ball in my hand at a young age, but I was born to do this, at the levels that I did it. I was born to teach it. And so I remember being a teacher just very early on and just having a steep, like, I love this joint. This is what love feels like. And so I mean, I don't know life without playing or coaching hoop.
So was there, we're going to get to a lot of hoop. I like it. It's NBA playoffs right now. So I got a lot of different opinions about some things. WNBA season just started. But was there ever another sport that you got into at all?
Yeah. That's a great question. So I was one of those kids who had the opportunity to do everything. So I played softball, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf. It was way too quiet. I couldn't do it. As you can see, I'm high energy, so golf was not for me. I did ice skating. I played the trombone. I played the guitar. I played the piano. I did tap dance. I did ballet. Like, my mom literally was like, here's the world. Like, let's figure out what you love to do. And she literally just built me up in that way. And so now I'm like, what do you mean? We're doing that. Like, I'll drive 2 hours to just go get some food. That sounds good. Like, that's the mentality because my mom blessed me and positioned me in that way to just do whatever it feels like you want to do. And there's no reason why you shouldn't, and never let money be an issue either. So I played every sport, but hoop was the one that was like, now we about to ride this thing off until the wheels fall off. So yeah, soccer was cool. It was too much running. I was the only Black girl. That wasn't fun. I was heavy set. I was like, I'm not with it. And then goalie was boring. So that wasn't for me. And so basketball was just that thing that I was like, I will give my life for this. I will run as much as I need to run because hoop is it for me.
So what was it about hoop? Like, and when, like, was it a game? Was it just like hooping, like the time? What was it that made it like hoop stand out from everything?
What sucks is I feel like early on it was just a part of learning more culture. So I call myself hood hybrid, where like my daddy was from the hood and my mom was just her and Jesus were like this. So I had that,
Hood
that
hybrid.
hood hybrid kind of like feel, and hoop kept me close to the culture where I had a lot of like white Christianity from my mom's side, but being in hoop kept me going to the Boys and Girls Club and being around. And so I got that extra feel and being able to be around other people. And then once I got to probably like my last couple of years of high school, it was like, oh, okay, I'm good, but I've never practiced really. Like I went to practice, but trainers weren't everywhere. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? 15, 16 years ago, there weren't trainers everywhere. And I didn't have no left hand. So nobody was really like, they weren't really betting on me, and I couldn't really shoot either. Again, all I had was my black dad up in the stands talking about some, that's my baby. That was it. So for me, it really came down to when I got into college and I knew that I wanted to hoop. And I didn't think that I didn't know the process. Nobody taught me about like, how do you go from high school to college, and how do you go, like not go to a community college, but go to a 4-year. No, those are no conversations I ever had. But when I got into college, one of my coaches, I almost failed out, right? And I'm clear with my story. I almost failed out. I was this close, had a 1.95 GPA, and it was like, ooh, that's not who I want to be. And my
Mhm.
coach was like, if you don't get your grades up, you can't play. And this is where I feel like my who I am today story starts then. So all of high school, middle school is kind of like just a kid trying to figure it out. Way
Mhm.
different from the kids nowadays. But it was like, if you don't get your grades up, you can't play. And the thing that sucks is, and what I'm so passionate about is nobody taught me how to be a collegiate student athlete, because nobody even taught me how to be a high school student athlete. So I had no idea how to be a collegiate student athlete, right? I didn't know how to make a dream come true and elevate from my community college to the next level. And so once I saw that these are the things that I needed to do in order to become just a different person, another person, I got addicted, and it turned on from there at the age of 18, and I haven't looked back since.
So, Coach, let's get into the nitty gritty of your game. Give me the
Okay.
scouting report of Coach Rees.
Whoo, man, pick her up full court. Don't let her catch a rebound. Off tops, right? I'm coming in 5'5". On a good day, don't let me snatch a rebound, and don't get in front of me, because I'm running you over. Period. Like that just is what it is. And so like that mentality didn't get in until going from my freshman to sophomore year of summer, where I started to slim down. I lost that high school baby fat. I was conditioned like a mug, put on some muscle, and then talk about ego and that hoop swag mentality. That's it. Don't let me catch a rebound, because I'm going 94-50. And if you step in front, and Euros weren't
Charge.
that big back then.
Charge.
Absolutely not. No, you're going to it's an ambulance call off tops. It's a block. You shouldn't have jumped straight to the ambulance. And I got receipts. I got receipts
Oh,
for
let's
that. So
go.
yeah, which is unfortunate, right? But that just is what it is. And so once I saw that, like, oh, I could hoop. Oh, cats aren't as conditioned as I am, right? Oh, shoot, I'm fat, like all of that stuff. So definitely had to develop a jump shot over the years, which felt good to be able to add, right? Like Kobe would talk about, add something to your game. So once I
Right.
saw that, like every year, I added something to my game. By the time I got to my junior, senior year, I was like, this is hooping. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole nother level of hoop. So if I need to hit the three, I can. My first step off tops. If you give me space, I'm gonna pull up for the three. If you come up, I'm a shot fake blow by, and then I'm gonna hit you with one of those, and then my teammate's gonna get open. So that's really it. Another scout will probably say, and I always say this too, I led my team in every single line, including turnovers. I own it. I own it.
It was on top of everything, huh?
I own it, because I'm saying, if you're a playmaker, they're going to happen. But the thing is, I still played 32, 35 minutes because I was making plays. Even if I turned it over, I was the first back on defense. You know what I'm saying? So the coach knew I was trying to make something happen. So yeah, I played here because I was trying to do it, but I also had a double-double. You know what I'm saying? So what are you gonna do when you got your 5'5" guard who's getting 18 points, 18 rebounds? Like what are you doing? So
Well, I'm talking to my bigs. What's going on? We got we got to get on the glass. That's what I'm doing. No, do you watch the NBA now? WNBA? Are you a fan of those?
Definitely a WNBA fan for sure. NBA, when it gets tighter, right? Like when it gets tighter, when the stakes are a little bit higher, then I dive in a little bit more, just from a sense of like, I like the entertainment factor, but I want to see
Right.
y'all like, I want to see you guys get hungry. I'm heavy into men's college hoop, women's
Okay.
college hoop, just because I feel like the hoop is different. But I'll definitely watch an NBA game if I'm, with my dad chilling or it's on. But really, I'm active, so I don't have a game on that often, which is unfortunate. Or I'm at practice because I'm coaching now, so it's like, oh shoot, there's a game on. It's kind of an
Okay.
afterthought. But I definitely follow the W way more than I do the NBA.
So for the W, time for expansion, pastime, or what's your thoughts on that?
Pastime. Well, one is pastime, but then if
Mhm.
I'm thinking from a business mindset, you're like, right now is the time. And right now is the time because there's I think Chene said it, the other day, like there's no reason for, why is it that you have first round draft picks? Why even have a draft in the first place if these women aren't going to be able to stay? And it sucks because it's like you're gonna end up having, unfortunately, more Brittany Griner situations, right? Or hopefully not, if that's the case. But you're putting us more at risk. You're putting more Black women at risk and going to these other countries. We're already not protected here in America. What the heck do you
Mm.
think it's going to look like if we're trying to go, off to another country? And so I think it would be amazing to see the same way that all these cats threw this money at OTE, the same way that all these cats are throwing these money at girls AAU teams. Throw it at the W, start a G League, whatever it needs to look like. I know you've got Athletes Unlimited, which is amazing as well, but
Mhm.
there's no reason why these women should, number one, have to stay in college for 3 years just to get drafted, to have to go overseas when she
Hopefully,
could have done that hopefully, right? And she could
right?
have done that out of high school, really, and then went to school online and became a millionaire within the first, who knows, right? So it's just, there's so many different pieces to it, but I definitely think that we need more leagues, we need more support, we need more. Obviously, it takes money to come behind it. So, who needs to do that? That's not my space to say, but I definitely
Mhm.
am going to advocate for more, because there's so much talent out there, and it's only really getting better. Cats is banging out in the 8th grade. You got
Yeah.
girls banging out in the 8th grade. That means we need more leagues. Period.
It's showing
No,
out. So,
I
so
agree.
did we fail Brittany?
Um, I think she was failed before she was failed. Like,
Mm.
I'm talking Baylor. I'm talking when she was knocking cats out in games, right? Like, I don't know the whole situation, but she was failed before she was failed, right? And you want to really talk about Black women in sports. You want to talk about Black women in America, Black women in Texas. You want to talk about Black gay women, right? Those are two different conversations. Black masculine women like myself, like Brittany, those are three different conversations. Because you got Black women, you got
Mhm.
Black lesbian women, then you have Black lesbian mass women like myself and Brittany. Like, three different combos there. And then you have mental illness. And I ain't talking about mental health, I'm talking about mental illness. We're not ready to have the mental illness conversation, but it's cute to talk about mental health. So when we want to layer on the fact that Brittany is a Black mass woman, right, in the league, who off tops had to already, and she's been playing in there for years. Like, why is she not? Why was somebody in Russia not like, no? That's BG. You know what I mean? So like we failed her before we failed her because of our whole system, but you can just blame that on systemic racism, like, if you want to. So it's like, where do you point the finger at that point, when it really comes down to it?
Boy, and I would like to welcome you all to Coach's Rees TED Talk, where she's breaking it down. But no, I mean, you hit on so
Mhm.
many elements, and the biggest part of all of those, even if you can get them into those different verticals or classifications, no one's ready to have the conversation, and that's the
Mhm.
biggest fear of all of
Mhm.
this stuff, right?
Yeah, and that the fear that's unfortunate is right now the word equity is a trigger word,
Mm.
right? So when you're thinking about I don't even want to say a box that she fits in, but just who she is as a human is a threat to us having the conversations that need to be had. There's been, and it sucks and it breaks my heart too, because there's been, and obviously I don't know her personally, but she's gone through a lot since she entered Baylor. And I'm
Right.
sure before that, but she's gone through so many different things and so many different levels that it almost makes me think of like similar to the Sha'Carri Richardson. Like who was in your circle? So as a mentor, I start to think about who are these Black women's mentors? And I'm sure there are plenty out there who have lived the W life and played at that high level who are trying to do work and not to necessarily bring Sha'Carri Richardson into it, but we need more mentors as Black women. We need more role models. We need more people who are really like, and not a bunch of, nothing to y'all, a bunch of dudes. Cause I know I was watching not The Pivot, but I Am Athlete podcast. And Sha'Carri was supposed to go on there. And then you had a bunch of men sitting around talking about what this young woman should have done without without a Black woman present. That's
Right.
like, what are you doing? So again, that's my perspective. We got a lot of men showing up, but it's like, okay, where are the women? When we move different, but I think again, we just need more. We need more everything. We need more access. We need more funds. We need more resources. We need Black women to know that we're protected here in America. So we don't necessarily have to leave in order to feel like we're worthy in other spaces.
I love it. That's deep. So, wow, that's good. That's a good one. Getting back to like your recruiting area, and then obviously your college game, and then eventually into coaching. What was that process like for you? Obviously, done playing and then transitioning into coaching now.
Yeah, man, that transition one for me was kind of easy because I started coaching when I was 15. So at 15, I had my mom taking me to games. I didn't have my license yet. And I just was like, I love this. I loved teaching the game. So early on, I was like, I enjoy this, but I never thought that I could be an actual classroom four walls teacher just because I never saw another Black teacher. I'm from Washington State. So seeing other Black teachers, Black women teachers, that was never really, and it was never affirmed to me. So once I saw that I could teach basketball, and that was something that just kind of came natural, and then the motivation piece, I was like, I want to do this for forever, right? So right when I got done playing pro, I played in Brazil. So right when I got done with that, I ended up going straight back to my alma mater, the same spot that I'd like discovered myself at, which is Highline College in Des Moines, Washington. And I was like, yo, I just want to help. I just want to be here. I just want to be in the gym. I want to teach. I want to help mold other young women at this same spot, that really changed my life. And what was dope is I was there for 2 years, had another assistant job, and then got my first head coaching job at 25. So I was really kind of spoken into existence. I knew exactly where I wanted to coach. I knew the timing of where it was going to be. And I think God just really like helped prime me. And I was a hoop geek. My IG name was Jesus Freak Hoop Geek. And so and that was just it. So I went to every camp, every training, everything that I could. Like I wrote definitions for hoop. I wrote a whole curriculum. I started a youth academy, a sports specific academic and life skills academy when I was still hooping out in college when I was 19, and I had AAU teams. Like literally this was my life. So I would hoop my season. My players would come to my games. Right after my graduation, I walked off the stage and went and go coach the game. Like, so I've just coaching and training has just been a part of who I am. Just cause I just love hoop, that much. So the transition to me felt like, don't ask for another player to hop on court. Cause then I'm not coaching no more. Like, coach, did you see my bad. I was trying to get a bucket. So that was the hardest thing for me to work out of. And I think as I matured as a coach, then I just was like, I'm not going to step on. My assistants can go, because I would get confused too much on like, okay, this is not about me, the hooper. This is about the player. So that was the hardest piece with the transition.
And a little bit into the level that you coached at. Obviously, you said you played at community college and then you moved on.
Yep.
Was that a reason why you wanted to coach kind of at that level based on your playing experience, or was that how did that process work?
It was about the people for me. Like, I love, number one, being in the middle of recruiting. I love recruiting in, changing lives, and recruiting out. That to me is just, I love what you can do with the human in about 2 years. And really, because they're coming out of high school and such fragile, right? And they don't understand, they don't really know. And a lot of times they're not really taught, right? And so if I can teach you just the foundational, aspects of the game and of life. And so I did these things called growth sessions. So I wasn't just teaching you about hoop. In these 2 years, I taught you about economic empowerment, financial literacy, how to gain financial independence, leasing versus financing, building your credit. So I was like, if you're going to be here for 2 years, you're going to get your degree. I'm going to teach you all things you need to know about your budget and credit, and I'm going to pack your hoop bag, right? Like that was my mission. So I felt like I can do that there because some women stop playing after 2 years. So if you want to go on, cool, right? I'm going to send you off to go do your thing. But if you don't, you're going to leave here with the bag full of all the things you need to go be a successful adult, whatever your definition of success is. So I absolutely love community college ball because it's life-changing. It's underrepresented. And it's underrepresented people who look like me. I was one of 2 Black women coaches out of all 6 levels, out of 7 states on the West Coast, and I counted. And my team looked like me, right? My team had more women that looked like me than the whole rest of the conference.
Right.
I counted, right? Like, so it was that piece that was like, yo, this don't make no sense for multiple different reasons, the Pacific Northwest, but I just love that piece. And then I love to travel too. So the recruiting aspect and having time off, and I want to have a family, and it just, the CC level just provides everything that like a person like me needs when it comes to also being able to be a fan of the other levels, right? Like I could still be a fan of the Pac-12 and the Big 10 or Big 2, all that, with still maintaining my authenticity and integrity as a head college coach as well.
Was
Absolutely.
it my fault, EJ, just real quick on that. Was it challenging? I feel like at the community college level, sometimes, a lot of times it's about an individual's process in a lot of ways to get to the next level. So was that a challenge from a coaching standpoint, coaching a team sport, where because sometimes the mindset can be very individual, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for where we were as a league, where we were as a conference, where we were just in general, there wasn't that much of that. And I think we as a staff did a really good job of making sure each player got what they need. So one of my strengths is individualization. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with StrengthsFinder, but I'm a StrengthsFinder certified coach. And one of the things for me is individualization. So I can get and I can see 15 individuals and tell you exactly what you need, but I also can see the whole and piece it together. So player development is one of my strengths. So we would spend a lot of time being able to work on each person's bag. And I would spend a lot of time being specific on what each person needed, making sure their role encompassed their skills that they could showcase. And I would tell you, play for the film. This is what's going out. So play for the film, train for that joint, play for it, but also know they're looking at the whole you, right, as a player. So I didn't run into that because it was a non-issue. You're here to get better, period, and we're here to send you on, period. There's nothing else to talk about.
So one of the things you did talk about is providing them with the holistic, they're getting their, individualized attention, goals. But you are a really big entrepreneur, and we really haven't talked about this. And I think we can call this in the game, in your career. We already started a little bit about that, but just talk about some of the entrepreneur things you've done. When did you start? I know kind of doing just some of the research, real estate is part of one of the bags that you kind of go after. So talk to us about when you started and how important that is for these athletes to kind of pick that kind of stuff up as well.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I listen to other podcasts and people are like, I was selling candy and at school, and I'm like, I don't think I didn't, that's not when I started. So again, I don't have that. I didn't get it out the mud, and I'm okay with that. But my dad was a candy salesman. My dad was a hustler. He's still a hustler to this day. So again, that hood hybrid. So that piece, I got to see that. So my dad would put me on his crew, literally, like, I don't know if you ever heard like Mike Epps talk about riding around the van and you go sell candy from door to door. My dad was one of those dudes. He was a candy salesman. So that was probably like the first entrepreneur piece that I saw. And I'm grateful to say it kind of runs in my blood. My grandfathers, right? You can go back ancestral, like sharecroppers to all the way down to like restaurant owners and different things like that. So runs in the blood on that way. But really for me, it's when I started becoming a trainer. It was like, yo, like I can train you and you'll pay me, like, but I would do this for free. So I made the commitment to myself at 18 years old that I'm never doing anything that I wouldn't do for free. And I haven't, and I won't. I'm convicted to it. If I wouldn't do something for free, I'm not doing it because it's not worth my time. It's not worth my life, should I say. And so once I started training cats while I was still hooping, $12, $12.50, like, oh, this was up. I had a parent pull me over and say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, but you got to charge more. And I was like, what? Okay, 15, right? And upping it and 30 and that kind of deal. Cause again, I'm still hooping, I'm still going to school and all that. And then I developed a nonprofit, which was TCSA, which stands for True Christian Student Athletes. So it was a sports specific academic and life skills academy. So I'm 20 years old at this time. I dedicated it to my late sister. She was murdered at 19. And so again, that just was another thing for me that I was like, I'm not wasting my life. I'm just not. There's no point in me wasting my life. And if I have breath, I'm using it to influence other people. My life mission is instill the right to confidence in other people by way of passion, love, repetition, and relationship. And if I got time to do it, I got breath in my body, that's when I'm doing it. But I'm going to do it by way of hoop because that's what comes natural to me. And then I'm going to teach you alongside that. So it was around that time frame when I was about 19, 20, 21 that I started to really hone in from a business stance of how to run an organization. What does that look like from a leadership role? I majored in youth ministry and psychology. So from a youth men's side, they were talking to you about running a church, but I just was thinking about running an org, right? They were building us up as leaders, but I just want to be a leader, right? Not a church leader, just a leader. And I had some people on my team who they owned apartments and did construction. And I'm like, you could own an apartment. How do you own the apartment?
Right.
That's why you guys pay for my dinner when we travel. Okay, cool. Like that, like you guys built your house. So that's when that stuff started to click for me because I was in a 99% predominantly white area. So I started to hear and be around a lot of white conversations where back home in Washington, none. Like nobody was talking about any of that. So I started asking questions. I started listening to podcasts and I just like devoured everything that I could. And this was podcast back in 2012. It was some janky, don't let your phone lock. And I had like a G1 back then. So that was really it for me as I just became a sponge of all things and asking questions and trying to figure it out. So that's when the real estate piece popped. And then I ran that same academy until I was about 27 or so. So from like 19 to 27, I was doing trainings and doing all that. And then my mom passed away when I was 26 and I just got my first head coaching job and I was doing all that and I had to let something go. So it was that. And so unfortunately, in my mom passing away, she died intestate, which means she died without a will. And again, and it wasn't, who knows why she passed in her sleep. So it wasn't necessarily intentional. It just, we didn't think she was going to pass at 56. Right. So that's the unfortunate piece. So I had to buy her house. So my mom's home ended up being the first home that I had to buy, which is word to everybody who's listening to this, get your stuff in order right here, right now. Do not allow life to happen without you, making sure you and your family stuff is taken care of. Because if I didn't have the knowledge I had and some of the mentors I had, I would have lost it. And the
Say
house
that again.
is,
I mean, so it's so funny. This is timely because I
Yeah.
just went or have wrapped up going through that. So that is a very important thing. So one, I say never sell grandmama's house. That's a thing that we need to know. And then get those affairs in order because we do not like having those conversations. And you think your parents are going to live forever or your loved one's going to live forever. And like you said, you didn't think at 56 that you would lose your mother. So my condolences with you on that. But those are the conversations you have that. I mean, I literally just posted that and got through that today. So I agree, stamp, drop the horn, all of that for making sure you do that. I'm in so agreement on that.
Yeah, and anybody that I have a chance to talk to, even the parents, do you have a will for your kids, or do you have what do you have set up? Because you just don't know, and too often we try to control life, and it's like you can't control life. And I remember not wanting to have that convo because my mom and I were like this. So I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't even want to think about losing you. Now on this side, I'm like, we should have talked about that. But I'm 26. You're right. I didn't know. But now that I have that pain, I never want anybody to ever have to sit in a courtroom by themselves with their death certificate of their mom trying to figure out how to keep their house and then head to practice and they just came from work. Like those are some of the worst times right in my life. So when you ask me what's a story of me kind of betting on me, I'm like, man, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day. But yeah, so that was the first property they ended up buying. And then I was like, and it's interesting too, because my mom and I were going to become real estate agents together. We were going through the process of doing that. So it was already a conversation that we were going to become a mother-daughter team, getting in, trying to figure it out. And then, life happens. And so from there, I was like, oh, bump that. I'm putting my head down and I'm killing the rest of my life. Like, if I'm going to hurt this bad, I'm going to kill life, and life is going to feel my pain because I'm still here. And so I ended up getting my real estate license. I'm still coaching. I'm getting my doctorate. Again, I'm running away from some pain at the same time, but I'm still, going forth and doing all this. And so fast forward 4 or 5 years now, I have 6 doors total. I do short-term rentals, Airbnb, Superhost, and it afforded me the opportunity to be able to retire at 31 from working in higher education full-time to live the life that I have now. Thank God.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I guess for the former athlete, or just for anybody wanting to start, I'm curious, what's your advice to them as far as getting into the real estate game?
Yeah.
Or any business, right? I mean,
yeah, any business. So I would say from real estate to any business, every time somebody asks me, I want to be in real estate. Okay, what part? That's the first question I'm going to ask you, because real estate has many parts. It's like saying I want to hoop and you don't really know what position you play. It's the same thing, right? Real estate has multiple games. You've got being a notary, mobile notary, you've got construction, you've got assessment, you've got insurance, you've got
residential,
loans,
commercial.
there's so many things, and people just hear real estate because it's a cool buzzword. So the first thing I'll say is, what are the skills that you want to use the most? Like, that's the first thing. Cool. And how do you want real estate to work for you? Right. I love hospitality. I like working with folks. So Airbnb works for me, right? I house hack. So that's something that operates for me in the way that I build a new build, house hacked it, call it a day. That's one piece. I also have a duplex. So are you trying to buy a duplex, or are you trying to, how do you want to leverage what you have? That'd be the second question I would ask, and who are you trying to do it with? Right? Are you trying to do it where you're at? What do you even know? And then the third question I would ask, which should really be the first, is like, what are your personal finances like? Because if you don't have your personal finances understood in a certain way, by time you go, one, you're not going to be able to purchase. You're not going to know how to purchase. You're going to be afraid if purchasing is the way you want to go about it. So when it comes to real estate specifically, have a conversation with somebody. You don't have to be an agent to be an investor. You don't even have to be the investor that's active. So figure out which part of the real estate game you want to be on. And then any business in general, the first thing I'm going to tell you is become a task lead. That's the first thing I'm going to say to any college athlete right now, is become a task lead, because that's what it's set up for, is to help you be a student athlete entrepreneur. If task leads didn't exist, I would then say, who are your mentors? That's the first thing. Who are you talking to? Who are your virtual mentors? How are you applying what I like to call your exponential or experiential capital, right? So there's different forms of capital as humans that we have. There's different forms of capital as people of color that we have as well. And then as athletes, there's a certain type of capital that we have. And you have a lot of experience in different avenues. Which experiences do you want to leverage and to add value to somebody else's life, for them to then add value to yours? Right? Like, somebody in the community, people need help. So whose life are you trying to add value to? Because they will add value right back by you just sitting there and listening and soaking up some experiential game. So those are the first. That's how I would attack both of those.
That's what's up. All right. MH, man, got to hit him with the quick hits. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. So a couple questions, kind of thing that comes to your mind. First time, if ever, that you've been starstruck.
Ooh, I would say one is Dawn Staley, but that's just like, come on, man, that's Dawn. It's just Dawn. I would also say Gino, but outside of the hoop world, I think that's it. Just Dawn and Gino, but it was like really more Dawn than Gino. So yeah.
All right. Give me your top 5, I would say, hoopers, women hoopers that you've, of all time, for you.
Ooh, Christy Tolliver, Candace Parker, golly, this is obviously DT. I mean, not obviously, but
Yeah, that's
To go.
yeah,
you
that's obvious.
know who else though? Sammy Perales. Samantha Perhalis, she used to get down. I used to watch her highlights before every game, which sucks that she didn't make it in the league very long, but that's another story. Who else do I rock with? Ooh, this is tough. Did I say CP? I did say CP. Christy. Maya Moore. That's 4.
Yeah.
Sue Bird.
I love Sue
And
Bird.
I'm sure I would say somebody else if I really had a couple seconds to think about it, of somebody that I'm really like. I love their game. But just really KT is one of my favorite players to just watch hoop, and I would probably get starstruck over her if I seen her in person. Like, oh shoot, it's KT.
There you go.
So I guess you spent time in Brazil. Give me some of your favorite restaurants that were out there in Brazil, just food wise.
I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know if I even had the ability to really like get out. My Portuguese was minds and means, very little. But I'll tell you this, so I've been to 31 countries total, and I've hooped in 8. So
Nice.
I mean, as far as food, I'm an eater, and I don't really know, restaurants, but I'm gonna eat wherever I go though. So unfortunately, I can't give you, but I do remember we had some really good salads, the rice and beans and chicken. You eat at the facility a lot because you're trying to keep all your bread. So I didn't really have no restaurant. I wasn't going out like that. I didn't have no WNBA stamp of approval. The check was not that big. He was taking Tupperware to the center, bringing that joint right back to the crib.
Proudest accomplishment.
Being alive.
Facts.
Still, and being as energetic as I am, still at this state, we're going through the things that I've gone through. So, and being willing to overflow into other people and invest in my energy to do that.
Love it. I feel like all hoopers have some kind of shoe game. So give me your, top 3 shoe game.
Ooh, this sucks. Because another sad story is I got robbed. Cats broke into my house and they stole all my J's. You would have asked me this 15 years ago, I would have been like, man, I got every single number, all of them in 2 colors. I got every force, every da-da-da-da-da. I had it all. And, I took a picture and put it on MySpace, like, get on my level. And they said, yup, snatch. They said, got him.
MySpace.
And yep. And
Probably Tom, huh? Tom set
look,
you up.
Well,
they weren't that top 8 thing. People took.
Look, and I know who it was. That's the unfortunate piece, right? That's because I was hood hybrid. That's what you get for being hybrid. So, so right now I would say though, man, I got some cool gray low top 11 just because I'm trying to stay cool. I got some Kobe's. I mean, I'm on a Vapor Max tip right now. Hope maybe one day I'll get back into it. But when you get violated like that and cats steal, $10,000+ worth of like just all your J's and you like spend time, collecting, it literally is, and them and you looked up to the people and it really like, it hits you on another level. Like I just can't even, I don't know if I'm healed from it yet, clearly. So yeah, that was a triggering question, MH. My bad.
My bad. I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. That's my fault. Well, last one, and this is a little. Hopefully, this doesn't trigger anything. Loving basketball or the wood?
Loving basketball. Cats used to call me Q in high school because of my eyes. Look, so there's that piece, right? Loving basketball. It's just that's just it. And there's no other women hooper movies. Like, that's why we love it, because we literally don't have any other movie to see yourself. That's it. And then the WNBA's in it. So it's not that we want that love story. There just ain't no other story.
I'm with it. Bring back the Houston Comets, WNBA. I'm ready to see them again. Bring them back.
Definitely.
Fire.
And no Joanna, man.
But we're not ready for that conversation though either.
MH, that's it.
That's it.
For sure. All right. So what we all been waiting for, and you kind of hinted to it, and you're rocking your swag with your sweatshirt. So I love the product placement. But you have 2 kind of organizations that we want to spend time on your platform. So this is the Winner's Circle, where we cut to talk about what you're pushing, promoting, and what you've been up to. And you have 2 great companies, and you said you use them both to build and serve others. It's just what that purpose is. So I'll let you start off with which one you want to start with first, and then we'll just kind of, go back and forth.
Yeah, so I'll start with UIsh, and UIsh is really an extension of my youth academy that I started back in college. I stepped away from coaching at 29, about a couple weeks before the pandemic hit, and I stepped away because I realized I wasn't getting the healing that I needed. Right, my mom had passed away at the beginning of my coaching career, my head coaching career. And like I said, I ended up running into all these different things because I didn't want to spend time addressing, right, that fear and that pain. And I take leadership very serious, that I was pouring out, but it wasn't out of a full cup. And I was giving my players everything that I had, but I wasn't being able to lead holistically. And so I started to really sit back and think about, what is it that leaders need? How do we take care of ourselves to prevent ourselves from burning out? Because I absolutely love this. And so UIsh stemmed from me stepping back and saying, what do I need, and how do I give myself what I need without it seeming negatively or destructively selfish? So I took the word selfish and put Reese-ish, and was like, okay, I like words and play on words and things like that. So it was like ish, ISH. Okay, intentionally seeking healing to internally secure my health. So I was like, so I started to be intentional with my energy, intentional with my healing, intentional to making sure that I have enough in me to overflow into somebody else, to where I'm projecting positivity, energy, confidence onto you, not just because it's what I'm committed to doing, but it's because of who I am, right? Like there's my convictions, but then there's also my energy, and my energy precedes me. So then I said, okay, how do I now take this to another level? Because I used to call it Growth University, and then was like, I like UIsh a little bit better. So weaved Growth University, TCSA into this UIsh space, so that way you can go EJ-ish, MH-ish, right? Like that's your kind of deal, to where you get to cultivate your own kind of like lifestyle, create your own lifestyle that allows you to intentionally seek healing so you can internally secure your health, pretty much so you can live out your life with confidence. So what does it look like on a daily basis? I'm full-time confidence coach, right? So that means I help people, organizations, schools, Fortune 50 leaders, models, athletes, teachers, whatever, on growing in confidence, but don't think of confidence as oh, I'm sad, I don't believe in myself. That's not what it is. It's
Okay.
really helping people maintain that psychological mindset, helping them grow in their psychological well-being, emotional intelligence, self-efficacy, seeing how they can make those connections, and then really weaving things in when it comes to habits, execution, and money mindfulness and leadership, and just different areas that we just need coaching and mentoring in. So that's UIsh. Actually, I love it. I love being able to spend time with people and really just fill their cup up and help them see things from another angle. And with that, like I said earlier, I'm a certified strengths coach, Clifton Strengths. So I do add in some of that. And then I teach different philosophies, which is one is called ICPR, which is intrapersonal coach to player relationship. So helping people understand the different players that are on their internal team, and helping them create dialogue and emotional intelligence within themselves, right? So that way they can manage that self-management piece. A lot of us might be self-aware. We don't really have that self-management to be able to continue being and growing and flourishing in the ways that we need to when it comes to our cultural capital and our psychological capital. So that's what UIsh looks like in a nutshell. And then task leads is
Really
that.
quick before you go into
Yep.
that. So UIsh, let's
Yep.
just like, because that was a lot, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of levels to that. Does each person come in, and is there like an assessment to start off and seeing like what
Mhm.
area, like how do I know if I need UIsh, right? Like how do I know I
Yeah.
pick up the phone and I'm calling you? Like as a company, if I have a small business, like how do I know that I need UIsh?
Yeah, so if you didn't see me on TikTok running my mouth, or you weren't referred to me or something like that, and you maybe just heard this and you're like, yo, like I feel like I just like her energy. That's where a lot of people come off, is like, I just like the energy. And it might be, there's this area that I need to grow in. I have these habits, right? I have this mindset. Help me make this shift, or help me grow in my psychological capital, which is like self-confidence, self-efficacy, hope, optimism, resistance. Help me make the connections between my story. Or somebody might say, help me grow my money mindfulness, help me grow my money story, and and discover my do you number, right? And that's something that I use as well. So there's different avenues that somebody might say, like, I need to tap in with you from a leadership stance. I don't know my leadership style. I don't never had that conversation because a lot of us are in leadership roles, but we've never been trained, right? Like I said, I've been training for this since I was 15. So this is intentional. Like I have a master's in coaching. I'm getting my doctorate in organizational leadership. So this isn't something I think is just fun. Like I've committed my life to helping people develop internal systems and external systems within their spaces to help them pretty much execute consistently. So it
Nice.
might be somebody that says, you know what, like I need to figure that out within myself and within my team so that way I can just maximize and increase my capacity. So that's really what that looks like on different levels. Or they may say, I need help with my strengths, discovering them and then learning how to use them. Or I need help identifying my players so I can create healing relationships or heal my relationship with failure or something like that so I can be my best self.
Got you. So now roll into where's task leads come in because these
Yeah.
companies were started about a couple months apart, right?
Well, you-ish is the evolution,
The
right? You-ish
evolution.
has
So
been
yes, it's
developed.
been
Yep. So
going on.
yep. And then task leads was something I've always dreamt of, but didn't have the capacity. So it was like right at the tip of my tongue for years. Where it was like I see how I impact people with you-ish, but I don't have a product. I don't sell candles and bath. Like, okay, God, how do I like really help college athletes be empowered and gain economic empowerment? Like, how do I do that? And then one day, I just moved into this house back in September, and I'm doing different things, and I'm like, man, I could have a bunch of college athletes here. Oh, shoot. So then it was like, instead of me paying, or instead of me starting a cleaning company, instead of me starting a lawn service, instead of me doing this, what if I created some like dope vehicle that allowed them to be able to get paid for doing certain tasks? That's fire. So then I just allowed my brain, and I'm an activator. It's one of my strengths. I just let that joint go. So I just
Mhm.
picked up my phone. I was literally building a dresser, put the hammer down, wrote down all the notes, and was like, I didn't have the capacity for this because I wasn't even healed enough to bring it to fruition. I wasn't even healed enough to bring it to thought. And so because I invested in my healing through my you-ish phase, I was able to now have something like this come to the surface because now I have the capacity and the energy to actually be able to go out and make this happen for college athletes. So I think, the timing with NIL, one of our biggest things that I say is we want athletes to gain economic empowerment and financial independence, regardless of your social status, right? Like, this isn't about do you got the blue check? Because I think NIL is amazing. I think there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be figured out, but that's going to help the top 1% of the top 1%. There's over 6,600,000 athletes
Right.
that, and so the top 1% of that, right now, again, I rep for small ball all day long and every day because that's a whole nother lifestyle, whether you're talking D3 on down, depending on where the D2 is on down. There's 6 different levels for a reason, and I hate for anybody to think that they're not worthy of being able to collect a bag, to feel like I have, what am I supposed to do with my life? Because I've seen it from the most marginalized. Community college athletes are the most marginalized. But then I've seen that there's also D1 athletes that are like selling plasma. But you're a D1 athlete. Why are you selling plasmas just so you can eat? So it's not just like, the issue is way bigger than NIL, from you being able to, make money off of making videos. And I get it. I'm a creator, so that makes sense. But Task Leads is our tagline is where athletes compete to complete your task. So, let's say you guys need help with producing, or somebody who has an Airbnb needs help with turning over a room. Somebody does Turo. They need somebody, like, solopreneurs want to get into other spaces, but they need to increase capacity. I'm going to hire a task lead to help me out. So now, from the athlete's perspective, they now, as we know, we don't have an extra 4 to 8 hours a day to be able to pick up another job. Athlete mental illness and burnout is on the rise for multiple reasons, and finances being one of them. So Task Leads is coming into play to be able to decrease all of this by saying, you know what, let's say practice got canceled. You have a Saturday or Sunday off. You don't have to be tied. You're not tied to a contract. You don't have to wait every 2 weeks to get paid. You can pick up your phone and be like, oh, shoot, somebody posted a job. I can get that done. You go get that done. You just made $100 because you get to set your own competitive pricing. Right. And so now you're getting paid right then and there. You want to go take somebody on a date. You need some money real quick. Boom, go be a task lead in the morning. go kick it at nighttime. So now there's so many other issues that athletes don't have to worry about because they got money in their pocket. A lot of athletes have to send money home. Financial aid does not go that far. Work study is not as great as what you think it is. When the school shut down, they don't have work study. So now you got kids going without a whole month in some without making money. So you can be a athlete whether you're at home, you're at your college, and then the whole point is for you to be able to gain experience based off of your what you're majoring in, right? Or either or just different skills that you have, whether it's mowing the lawn somewhere, or it's being able to do communications and HR work, or public relations, or social media, or helping out real estate agents with non-licensed tasks. So the list goes on and on.
So there's really no limit to, I guess, the services that a athlete could provide.
Yeah. Yep. Unless it's like licensed things. So we are really staying in a specific way. Like there's Thumbtack and TaskRabbit that are like bigger contracting jobs,
Sure.
right? We don't want to get athletes into anything like that. We're really big on the real estate space and helping them do, like I said, non-licensed tasks that allow real estate agents to capitalize that much more on their time and maximize their time. So, but there's a list of things that they can do to help a lot of solopreneurs, a lot of just small businesses in general who might say, I just need somebody for a day, for a weekend. Somebody's a DJ and they need somebody to help carry the equipment, right? Or somebody is running a camp and they want to go on the app and go find some athletes. They can post, yo, I need 3 athletes to help me run this camp. It pays X amount. Or the athlete, they'll have a profile and it'll show, right, I'm an MVP in this. I'm an expertise in this. I'm majoring in this. Here's where, I can fit in. Here's how I can help you in your business because I'm an expert in this way. And so again, they set their own competitive pricing. Minimum wage doesn't make any sense. So why make $15 an hour? You can make 50, doing something that you're actually proficient at and using the same skills that you're developing and using on a daily basis. So now we're not talking about transferable skills anymore, right? We're talking about using the skills, which now gives you that experiential capital that I was talking about earlier.
No, that's dope. So how are you building? Because for that to be successful, you have to build from both ends, right? So you're building, you have to have a pool of the athletes that want to do the work, but you also have to have the business to provide the work. So how are you going about doing that?
Running my mouth as much as possible. That's the first one, but really that is the trick because it's the both and. But the coolest thing is
it's a marketplace, right? You're creating a marketplace right now, right?
Yep. It's a tech business. It's athlete tech, fintech, whatever you want to call it in that wave. But it's been done plenty of times before. Uber Eats, DoorDash.
I mean, you can get into more specific. Fiverr, online, whether the people that the virtual assistants, like all of that. So it's a marketplace, and you're in a specific. I just think that, like you said, you hit it on NIL. This is a perfect time for this to kind of be included in that space, to where it's not like here's somewhere that I can gain experience and get the bag. So no, I definitely love that.
So one of the areas, like you said, what are we doing? We're tapping into, right, the markets, the real estate markets. We're tapping into like Airbnb people. And even if we just stayed within the athletic space, you know what I'm saying? From a number sense, it's $1 million business from right there, right? So it's really just connecting with athletic departments, creating partnerships that way, and then creating partnerships on the other way and saying, hey, do you need this? Hey, do you do this? And just trying to, public relations, marketing relations back and forth. So all day long.
All right. So it's always fun, when you're having these great conversations. So time does fleet on us. So this is a part of the show we like to call the assist, right? So this is where you kind of give either some words you live by, maybe a quote or something that you would tell your younger self.
Man, something I would tell my younger self is you're worthy. Period. Man. Like, just that's it. That's something I want to make sure I tell people every day too, is you're worthy, and whatever that means. As a Black woman, lesbian, Christian, like you're worthy. Period. And to walk in that freedom, walk in that light, and just be you. So
I love
that's what I tell my younger self.
Let's go. MH, final words.
Coach Rees, you said it. We love the energy, and we appreciate all the nuggets, not just the final nugget that you left us with, but just throughout the show. We support you. Continue to have, prayers and everything with you and your family and dealing with your pain and succeeding on the other side. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
And so we got some of your handles. One thing I always say is content is king. And just in prepping for this show, you have a lot of stuff out there. So we just touched the surface, but I hope we did you some justice. But once again, Task Leads and Uish on IG, and then you have Coach Rees 1 on all your other platforms, so TikTok, IG, and Twitter. So we'll put that in the show notes. And just once again, we really want to thank you. Thank you again, Coach Rees, for coming on, sharing that game. And we also want to thank you to people for listening. So just know we drop a new show every Thursday. So please, please, please subscribe, because visual representation matters. And stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Appreciate y'all.
Got sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.